Welcome to The Culture. We rest at the pulse of the community, providing all things news, media, fashion, events, and everything that we talk about in between. Documenting our Black powerful history and amplifying our Black voices, one interview at a time. We are The Culture.
Hi, and welcome to The Culture. I'm your host, Jessica Garrett Modkins, and joining us today is Belinda Gordon-Battle. She is the host of Mental Wellness for The Culture. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I can tell you're excited, Belinda. You are excited. And I'm going to say one reason why you're excited is because we're in the studio.
We are in the studio. It is beautiful. I'm enjoying the entire experience.
Well, I know that your audience for mental health, for mental
wellness for the culture
is excited because you're back for a new season.
Yes, season 2.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about what they can expect.
My goodness, we're so excited and we are glad to be in a new space. And we have topics that are going to remind our community that mental health and mental wellness is a priority. I want to make sure that we talk to our educators because they're under stress from the inside of the school and the outside of the school with all of the changes, the regulations that are being put in place without their input. But they are expected to go into that space and teach. That is causing a high level of stress for our educators. So I want to make sure we talk to them. I want to make sure we talk about suicide and suicide prevention, suicide awareness, just thinking and being thoughtful of the fact that we recently had someone to survive a suicide attempt, someone that's prominent in this community. So I want to make sure we talk about those things and that we normalize that discussion. I want to talk about Black love. Then we really enjoyed that topic.
Yes.
And it's so important to talk about Black love, not just with couples, but also with our children, generations of Black love, and how that allows us to have a place of mental wellness. I want to talk about grounding ourselves, making sure that we stay connected to each other, connected to the earth, connected to the universe, connected spiritually, because these things work together as far as mental wellness is concerned. So I'm excited to have these topics in front of me. Oh my goodness. The one thing that we always talk about between the two of us, taking care of our parents.
Oh, yes.
Being caregivers.
Yes.
As we take care of our families. I want to make sure that we have a place of understanding of what it means to be caregivers at this point in our life. So I'm excited about these topics.
I am too.
Thank
wow.
you.
Those are great. Yes. So with Black love, we're looking at expanding the conversation from just a relational standpoint with the person who you may be involved with.
Exactly.
The education, our educators, and the stressors that they feel from, because could you imagine being a teacher almost in a dictatorship position where someone is telling you what you have to do, and then you have to be all smiles in front of the students.
And realizing that you are giving wrong information to our young people. You've been told that you need to share, you need to teach inaccurate information to our young people. Just imagine that internal conflict that can exist, that will exist for many of our educators.
Now, something that you mentioned was grounding. And I remember that conversation from 2020.
Yes.
It was huge. Can you explain to the Cultures platform what is grounding and why is it so important for an individual to find that and understand it?
Absolutely. And actually on August the 5th, I am going to be with Catalyst of Miami and talk about grounding, just as what we can do as individuals, but also collectively what that looks like. It's an opportunity to just slow down, remind yourself that you're connected to something bigger than you are. And one way you can do that is simply take your shoes off, plant your feet in the ground. Even if you are in this setting, take your shoes off for a second, plant your feet as close to the ground as you can on this floor, take a few deep breaths, say some positive things to yourself, and remind yourself that you are in control of the situation that you are in right now. Mm-hmm. No one even has to know when you take those moments to yourself. It's a personal moment. It's powerful, but it's even more powerful when you're with a collective and everybody has that same mindset, that we are able to ground ourselves individually and then do work in our community collectively.
Now, I'm going to tell you that I have had some moments where I felt very ill. Usually it's something that I ate or I drank and it just has my body feeling off. I didn't know it until right now. But what I know that I do is I take my shoes off and I go into the restroom where there are the tile and it's always cold. And I say, I need that. It's almost like a shock to help me to kind of get my body back to where it needs to be.
Absolutely. That's what we're talking about. And those small things can help us de-stress, help us lower our blood pressure, just help put us in a better state of mind when we're dealing with stressors.
Nice. Never thought about it. Now, I'm going to ask you this. When you've taken me on these excursions that are 12 hours long, and my husband is like asking me at the end of the day, well, are you coming back today or tomorrow? Is that a part of self-care? Is that mental wellness? I'm thinking that it may be a part of like a mini girl trip wellness session.
It is. Okay. Absolutely.
See,
absolutely. We are kindred spirits when it comes to taking small staycations and making sure that we find a hammock.
Right.
We find some water. We find some libations.
Right.
And a driver. And a driver. We're safe.
Right.
In a safe environment that we take a moment and take care of ourselves. Sometimes that just means peace and quiet. Sometimes that means turn the music up, open the windows, sing at the top of your voice.
Right.
But what it means,
laugh until you cry.
Oh my goodness, laugh until you cry. Make sure you cry until you laugh.
Cry until you laugh.
How about that?
Yes.
It just gives us an opportunity to share a moment and understand that I believe in you, you believe in me. We are safe together. We could do all of these things and then go back to doing our work.
And go back to our families. What we need to make sure we get the next time we do that intentionally is the recipe to that truffle pasta.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's the one thing that we left on the table. Please. We didn't discuss it with the gentleman, but we need to get that.
But if we get the recipe, we're not going to cook it. We need the chef. I think we need the chef.
Can get his number.
Yes. I think that's what we need. Mental wellness for the culture. We're looking for the chef that can provide the truffle pasta from a great, amazing restaurant in South Beach.
We're getting notifications from the producer that we've got to get back on task. But what I will say is, what I appreciated about those moments, you don't really know what you need until it happens. Yeah. Our last moment was just a few weeks ago, and I just thought that we were just going to go and come back, and we ended up a whole half day again.
Yes.
And
10 hours.
Crying, laughing. I really thought we were going to get in trouble because we were so loud.
Yes.
And completely out of order in the restaurant.
Yes, we were out of order. But I noticed people around us were smiling.
I think that they wanted it.
Right.
They wanted to be a part of it.
And I think people even came and joined us at some point.
And people walked away crying.
Absolutely.
Full of life.
Yes.
You just don't know what you need. Right. And sometimes other people can be affected when you're being genuine and you are being transparent and you are allowing yourself to take up space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we did that.
We did that. And we were open to sharing that space. People just walking by.
Yes, because we did have other guests that came and joined us.
Yes. Stay for a moment.
Yeah.
Exchange some information. Got some advice, some guidance.
Yes. Shared
some energy.
Yeah.
Shared that energy.
Yeah.
And then we're able to go back and do what they needed to do. Yeah. That's part of mental wellness, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reality of it is, in the beginning of it, it wasn't set out to be that way.
Yeah.
So I would even encourage all of our viewers to find space sometimes, not just with yourself, but with others.
Yeah.
Just find that one opportunity with others and spend it in a genuine way where you're being transparent, you're being open, and you're able to receive and give.
Absolutely. And I think we are going to have to create some spaces like that in the near future. I know with our BIPOC brunch for mental health professionals, we provide that space just for Black and Brown mental health professionals. But I see that there's an additional need in the community for people just to come together and understand that laughter is mental wellness. Crying is a part of mental wellness. You know, we have a safe space to express emotions amongst each other.
I was listening to Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she was talking about how when the collective body of God comes in a room, and how it is a moment for you to be free because of all of that. I'm going to use another word, energy. The devil cannot penetrate it because of what is going on. And that's what I hear you saying, that once people come together in agreement on it being a safe space to emotionally be free, that people will be able to accomplish that same dynamic of accomplishing whatever that goal is in that safe space.
They will. And that's a part of healing. You know, you learn how to heal yourself sometimes by being in a community of people that allow you to have that safe space. So we want to continue that. And there are some churches that are understanding you can align therapy and counseling with Christ, with God, with Jesus. We are all in alignment. Therapists are there to support the process. We're not there to stop you from going to church. We're all together as one. We are in agreement that your health is more important than anything else. Your peace of mind is more important than anything else.
How are Black women right now?
Black women are so dedicated to taking care of everyone else. Every once in a while, we have to be reminded to take care of ourselves. And we need to do that for each other. We need to create those opportunities and experiences and acknowledge each other for the work that we're doing at home and the work that we're doing in the community and the work that we're doing on our jobs and in our careers. But every once in a while, we really need to take a seat, take a step back, relax for a second, and acknowledge each other just as women. Just as women, because there's a fight going on. And sometimes it's invisible and sometimes it's a slap in the face. But we as women have to remind each other, and I think men do also, but in a different way. But we need to make sure that when you see another woman, that you smile at her, give her a compliment, because you know she's going through something. It might not be at that very moment, but it's coming. And so we need to make sure that we take every effort to share positive energy, positive vibes, and support with other women.
How are our Black children?
Our Black children are thankfully reaching out and requesting mental health support services. They are aware that bullying is an issue in cyberspace and in school. They are talking more and more. We have a responsibility to listen more and more, but they are talking more and more. And they are, I hate the word resilient. I don't know why I don't like that word, but our children are strong and they want to succeed and we have to support them in that process.
What are some things that parents can do in this rearing stance that we have? Because we are raising children in an environment that we weren't raised in. And I know that our parents probably felt the same way. But I do believe that our children are susceptible to things that we could have never thought that you would stumble upon in a process of searching the internet. It is sometimes beyond their age group that they should be exposed to it. But what are some things do you think that parents should consider as it relates to this digital world that they're exposed to?
The first thing I encourage parents to do is to be prepared. Like, make sure you're taking care of yourself so that you can take care of your children. Um, have those moments when you say, I like to see what you are watching on TV. Well, not even on TV anymore. Who watches TV?
Right.
I like to see what you are watching on your phone. I want to know what that is that you are listening to. Could I share one of your earbuds so I can hear what you're listening to? Explain that music to me. And really have some conversations. But that requires us as parents to put our phones down.
Right.
You know, take a moment with our children. Let's go for a walk. What's your favorite restaurant? Let's go there and talk for a few moments. Invite his friends, her friends, so that you can see how they interact, how they share experiences. But we definitely have to make sure that we are nurturing our children, because the world has already told us
they do not care.
They are going to lie about our babies.
They're going to lie to them.
They're going to lie to them, and they don't care how it affects them. So we have to make sure that we nurture them. They always know that they can come home. And home means you create an environment, people, a village that can support your child. Your children are not going to always agree with you. They need to know who they can go to.
Right.
That has the same moral, the same values, the same understanding of life that you have, so they can go to that person and be safe.
Black men.
Yes. One of the producers of the show, Garrett Modkins, and I recently spoke about Black men. And I know that he is in position to put something together that's going to allow Black men in this area to come together. And I am in complete support of that. I think Black men have to come together. They have to continuously have dialogue. And we have so many brothers in the D9 in this area. We have so many brothers that are part of 100 Black men, 5,000 role models, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, part of churches. That they have to come together and have some common conversations about taking care of us as Black women, taking care of our children, and taking care of each other. So they are going through a lot of significant stressors themselves.
Self-imposed and from the world.
From the world. Some things they can speak about freely, and some things they cannot.
Yeah.
They cannot. So we want to make sure that we embrace them as much as possible and give them the space, that safe space also, so they have an outlet. So I'm looking forward to working more with Black men.
And where are we with the Black marriage, the couple, that Black couple? Yeah.
The Black couple. They're changing. They're evolving. And so we have to also be aware of keeping our foundation and understanding what that looks like for our families. Because the whole point of having a couple is to make sure that our families continue to be strong and grow. And so we want to continue to have conversations with couples so that they can have a moment where they understand that their togetherness has layers, and there's space and time to work on their layers, that they're surrounded by other strong couples that understand that this is not an easy task, but we have work to do. So I think everybody on the scale, everybody has work to do. And that requires us to be insightful, innovative, open to the process of healing.
And that's one thing that we strive to do here at The Culture, is to be transparent, allow for people to know that you're not in it by yourself. You're not the only person who has had this trajectory of life happen to you, and you are having to go through it. Someone else is going through it too. Absolutely. And it kind of makes you feel better about your situation when you understand that it's not just you.
Right.
It's not just you. Does not diminish how taxing the situation is, how weighty the situation is, but to know that someone is either going through the same thing as you, or they have gone through it I love it when I recognize someone has already moved through it, because I can say, God, you did it for her or you did it for him.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a respecter of person. Be it unto me.
Yes.
And with that, we want to thank you, Belinda Gordon-Battle, for joining us for another edition of The Culture. And we wish you well on this season 2. We know that you're going to change lives. And we just thank you for lending your talents to that audience that you have built. Yes. And we are your resource to help you to achieve the other goals that God has for you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing this platform to include mental health and mental wellness. It's so important for our community, and you always allow it to have space. So thank you so much.
Yes. And thank you for joining us. That's it for another edition of The Culture. Come back and join us this evening at 6 p.m. for another edition of My 2 Cents. Belinda and I will chop it up. You grab a drink and join us for a night of shenanigans. Hey, we'll see you next time.
The Culture is produced and owned by Hip Rockstar Media and is distributed by the Culture Media Group. It cannot be reproduced or broadcast without written consent. All rights